Hello everybody, welcome back to Diamonds from the Rough. I am Leora and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, thank you so much for stopping by, and if you're coming back, I appreciate the support. Thank you for watching. This week's piece is actually a custom creation. This is someone's own bedroom furniture that they're having me redo into a whole pirate theme, and this is the coolest idea. I love all the different directions we're going to be able to go with this. And the theme for this one is going to be sunset. And I just did a class with Emily from Weathered Hearts Designs, and she taught me how to do a raised with sand. Check out, there's sand in that. Raised stencil to create this ocean and create this sunset look. And I'm also going to throw in a lighthouse around the side so it kind of looks like the beach in Florida where my customer is from. Stay tuned and see if I can make a diamond from the rough. Thanks. So what I've done so far is just try to fill in these gaps that were on the side. This just had like a 1/8 of an inch gap between the fascia and the side, and I'm trying to make it a little bit more of a complete image without this big black line going through it. Yeah, there you can sort of see. It's darker, you can still see that there's moisture in there, so I don't want to sand or it's all going to come off. This has only been maybe half hour since I put the joint compound on, and it's nice and dry where it was super thin. All right, guys, this is something that I have very little experience with, and that's one of the reasons I'm excited about doing it, because I like to do stuff that I've never done before on furniture, which of course could go horrendously wrong. So I wanted to just jump right in. I could practice like 10 more times and make myself crazy, or I could just say, hey, I like what I did here. I can make it better on another canvas, and I'm just gonna wing it. Wish me luck. The first thing that she taught us, she had us start with the horizon. So we are using joint compound, and seriously, this is the best investment I think that you could possibly make as far as texture medium, because you get this huge bucket. This is 3.5 quarts of compound. It's so soft, so it's really malleable and easy to move in and out of filling spaces, or obviously it's joint compound. That's why I used it on these joints here. It took me way too long to figure that out. I was looking all over for my wood fill, and I was like, I've got joint compound. Use it on the joints. But yeah, the texture of this is amazing. I opened this months ago, and I just opened it again, and it's still just as soft. It's like playing in frosting. Sorry, it's fascinating. She had us take a palette knife, which, you know, I'm going to be using my little plastic scraper, and kind of give yourself a little bit of a horizon line where you want your water to meet the sky. And I want my sunset to kind of be in here. Now, this is so ridged and textured already that there's no way that I can do something like a round sun and a cloud right here. It's going to have to all be very impressionistic, very loose. That's probably better for me because this is not something I am familiar with. But I am going to make this amazing out of sheer force of will. Based on this picture, I have almost 90% of the canvas is like half and half there for that 90%, and then this little 10% is going to be your beach. And I don't want it to be straight across like we did on the canvas, because she wants to have a lighthouse added, and it's going to wrap around. So the lighthouse is going to be on this side, which means I have to make sure my beach extends around the side and has land for the lighthouse to build out of. I am going to maybe bring my beach like it's wrapping around and kind of going uphill. And now I have an idea. Here's where landfall is, and I will kind of sketch out my lighthouse so I know where that's going to go. Beach is going to be here. Horizon, maybe right around here. Now I'll have the sun and the light and the dappling all coming down right about there. Now I've placed my lighthouse on the side, which I'll go around and show you, but I have an idea about where I want it to hit the sand and where I'm going to like have to paint in some rocks because it's already on a rocky surface in the image. I'm gonna now put in with my joint compound the horizon. So I'm using a Redesign with Prima Art Basics rubber spatula. You can also pick up something like this at like the dollar store, and I'm just going to gently come across horizontally to make a horizon. Of course it's horizontal, duh. Just brush it out. Does not have to be thick like that, but you're going to have some motion in your water. And I can make this thicker as it dries. I can decide if it needs to be more noticeable, but this is just giving me an idea, and you can already see, because of the irregular nature of it, that you can kind of see waves going out at the horizon. Here's my line for where I want my sandy beach to kind of go, and it's kind of coming in like there's a little bit of a harbor there, and then that's my general idea of where I want the lighthouse. And you can see how nice and smooth this looks now, so I won't have a big gap, and I'm excited about that. And when I drew the line, it was a little crooked, so I'm just going to go above the line, because now I can see from there that I actually dropped down a bit. I'm going to peel back this tape real quick, throw on my horizon. Moving on to my next part is going to be creating these clouds, which we created with more joint compound, but with a little bit of texture in it. I'm going to use a texture compound. You can use whichever one you like, but I just want the clouds to have a little bit of body. You're kind of making brownie consistency. So, you know, kind of like thick brownie batter. I could probably actually even use more, but I'm not going to worry about it. Rubber spatula again. I'm going to put on some clouds like in a blob and then wisp them out. In my head, I still think like a little kid, where it's like the sun is round and clouds are bumpy shaped and they look like, you know, cotton balls, but they don't. So if my horizon is here, all of this is sky. So I'm just going to put some here on the middle, like in a blob, drag it out. There we go. As one would expect, it's vastly easier to do things on a flat surface. So now I'm having to contend with all of the moldings on here. So this is going to get interesting. Taking, yet again, more joint compound, and I'm going to make it even thicker. So the last one was like a brownie batter, and now I'm going to make it with actual sand, even thicker than that, because I want a gritty texture down here. I'm going to sand the clouds because clouds aren't gritty, but the beach is. And then I'm going to take some sand that I got from Michael's. I just live in Colorado, so not a lot of beaches to be had. All right, it looks like a hot mess right now, but don't worry about it. I'm going to let this dry. I have to check the bucket to verify, but it's either going to be overnight or at least 8 hours. And now I am going to clean my tools, because what's something that doesn't go down the kitchen sink? Joint compound. Bad idea. So I'm going to just wipe off everything with paper towels, and then I will give it a rinse with some water and wipe it off again. And then everything else, my containers, I just use ones that I could pitch so that I do not have to worry about clogging up my drains and closing them off when this stuff solidifies. Nearly forgot to show you how to put on water. Again, joint compound with absolutely no other texture in it, because I don't want to make this rough. I'm just putting some on my silicone brush, and where my water is supposed to be, I'm just going to kind of do like a sort of a gentle skim. but moving in a wavy-ish pattern, just so it looks a little bit more natural than if I just did lines straight across. Just make sure you don't go above your horizon, and you don't want to come down over your beach. The joint compound really does need to dry, even though I'm tempted to paint on it now. I shouldn't. It's just going to give movement to the 24 hours later, I have let all of my sand, sky, and water texture dry fully. All I wanted to do was just seal in this texture so that it doesn't reactivate when I put paint on it. I made just a little plate with my sand colors that I want to put on, and just using the black in the lid for some detailed rocks that I'm going to have to build up around the place where the lighthouse is going to go. I've got my chisel, actually this is just like a little paint scraper, and some sandpaper if I do need it. So anything that looks like maybe just a little bit too chunky, I'm going to take it off. And definitely here where the drawers might need to open or close, I'm going to give it just a quick little sand. Of course I don't want to paint over dust, so I've got to at least... You don't want to make this completely smooth though, because your paint's going to have to attach to this when you're scraping later. And to be safe, I'm going to vacuum because I don't want to get all this mixed up into my paint and add texture where I don't want it. I've got my plate of paint. I've got a bunch of different brushes. I think I'll probably use maybe just 2 for the light tones and the dark tones, with a brush for each. that is a wrap, folks. What do you think? Is she a diamond or is she still rough? I know what I think. I am extraordinarily proud and pleased with this piece because it's something I've never ever attempted, nor would I have thought it possible. If you could please like and subscribe, comment, tell me what you think. How do you think it went? What would you do differently if there's anything? And yeah, please just make sure you watch all my videos and help this channel keep growing. I would really appreciate it. And I will see you next time for the next Diamond from the Rough. Bye.